Sound Off. Horry and Georgetown counties, we welcome you back to Sound Off. Again, Sound Off is heard weekly on your favorite radio station. Always our goal at Sound Off to deal with topics that are relevant to you, the community, and always relevant to our young people. We're proud to be sponsored by Avant Auto Repair, located on the Cates Bay Highway here in Conway. My name is Claudine Lane Schofield, and at this time I would like for my Sound Off crew, please introduce yourselves.
Oh, okay. Hey, how y'all doing? This is Raekwon.
Hola, this is Michelle.
And at Sound Off, we're really honored to have as our very special guest, my brother from another mother. And I mean that with everything in me. Give it up for Mr. Christopher Hennigan.
Thank you.
Chris is the regional manager for Fudgery. And I tell you what, Chris, before we go any further into the program, what I want to do is I want you to tell Horry and Georgetown counties, who is Christopher Hennigan?
Christopher Hennigan, 39 years old, native of Bucksport, South Carolina, my home. I love it. Plan to be there for the remainder of my days if life lasts and death pass. And graduated from Conway High School in 1992. Attended Coastal for a while, didn't finish school, but I plan to go back and get it done. Made that promise to my mom and my dad, my whole family. And devoted husband, 3 kids, Isaac, Cicely, and Helena, and we just love living.
Chris, the reason why I wanted you on Sound Off because you literally worked your way up from a candy maker, and now you are the regional manager at the Fudgery. Mm-hmm. And I really admire that, and I wanted you on because, anytime anything happens to shake our community, the first thing I think about is the fact that we got to begin to empower ourselves, not being reactive, but being proactive. And so what I want to talk about, although summer is almost over, and you probably go into slow season, probably September?
Actually, probably not until like the end of November.
Oh, perfect. So that means you'll be hiring some people. So let's talk about, we have several young people out in Horry and Georgetown counties, and they can come from Georgetown County and work, right?
Yes.
Now, they might be interested in employment at the Fudgery. Now, let's talk about before you even get an interview. I want you to emphasize the fact that if I'm interested in working at the Fudgery or any company, how essential is research, knowing about the company you want to work for? Let's talk about that for a little bit.
I think that's huge. Let me give away a secret for the Fudgery, first and foremost. If you want to work for the Fudgery, you have to sing for the application.
Okay.
That does not mean that you're going to get the job. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get the job. That doesn't mean that you have to be a great singer. It doesn't mean you have to be a bad singer. You have to sing for the application. That's the first thing I want to let people know, because they come in and they say, hey, I want to get a job. And I'm like, cool, sing for the application. You have to sing for the application? Yeah, I just said that. You have to sing for the application. And they stand there and they ask you the same thing. But I'm different because I don't ask more than 2 or 3 times. If I say, well, you need to sing and you don't sing, I'll say, come on, really, seriously, that's what we do. And I'll sing a little song, or either someone's in the shop singing. And they say, like, so you really want me to sing? Then I'll say, you know what? Don't worry about it. This is not for you.
Right.
So I think that.
And so that's the problem, is they didn't do the research.
They didn't do the research.
Okay.
That's the first thing. So that's the secret if you want to come work at the Fudgery. You have to sing for the application. So come prepared. We generally don't tell people that. We like to come in because we want to catch you at what we consider your weakest moment, because you don't know, and there are usually people in the stores. So you want to be, you want to catch people and see how they respond, because customers come in and they want to hear us sing. We're known for having the world's best fudge, but we're also known for being great entertainers. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's important that you go out and look up for us, the Fudgery. Pull it up on YouTube and you'll see people singing and entertaining. So you know exactly what's going on. I would even go by the store and, kind of look around and see exactly what the setting is, how the people interact with the customers and so forth and so on. I just think that research is very important. And I've been out of that game for a long time because I've been with this company for 13 years. But even before I came there, I went on YouTube and just kind of checked it out.
Okay, all right. And so I'm going to you, Ray. I know that you work at a company here, and we're not going to give a lot of free advertisements, so I won't talk about the name of where you work until if they want to advertise, they want to do it. But I mean, when you decided that you wanted to work for the company that you're currently with, what are some of the things that you thought was necessary? Now, you heard Mr. Hennigan talked about the fact that research is essential, but did you even think about the importance of knowing about the company in case you were asked, why do you want to work here?
No.
Exactly.
I mean, my mom worked there before, and my brother's dad worked, so I kind of knew what was going on because she'll come home and tell us about it. Then she'll tell us about the people skating and, the fun stuff at America's Best Drive-In. So I kind of knew what I was in for whenever I applied for the job when I was 14.
Okay, and Michelle, what about you? I know you worked at a company here in Conway as well.
Yeah, when I worked at the company that I worked for, I did my research. I knew they were a Christian-based type of establishment. They didn't work on Sundays, which was good for me since I'm my church musician. But I knew kind of what they stood for and what it was about and everything like that.
Okay, and so, Mr. Hennigan, what I want to talk about now is the fact that our young people understanding the fact that if Ray and Michelle are interacting and having a conversation, it doesn't matter what type of slang or what type of logo they use, but how important is it for young people to understand during the interviewing process, you're not dog, you're not yo. Let's talk about that, because a lot of times I think they get that twisted a little bit.
Corporate America is a different animal. Of course, we're all here in the same culture, so we can talk any type of way. But when you get into, quote unquote, the real world, you have to adjust and, go with the flow. So if I'm in corporate America, I have to be a little more intelligent. I have to be a little more precise with my words that I choose. I can't use yo, dog, homie, what's up. It just doesn't flow like that. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's not of the same culture. And the reality of the situation is corporate America is a different animal. And you have to be able to adapt, adjust, and overcome. And if you can't do that, you're going to be stuck where you're at.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Hennigan. So we've been talking about how you talk and the type of words you're supposed to use. How about appearance? Because I know I've heard people say all the time, appearance is like everything, sort of. But how should one dress when going to an interview?
Well, number one, you should not be sagging, which is the coolest thing on the planet to do, so say the public
Saggy.
for the most part. I don't agree with it. I've never sagged, so I guess I'm just an exception to the rule. And I don't teach my kids to do that. But again, America has made some things out to be better than what they are. Sagging is accepted in a lot of places because that's what your rappers do. And I'm not opposed to rap. I love rap music. I'm a musician, so I love all types of music. But I don't believe that I want anyone working in my establishment where I can see their undergarments constantly, just not my style. And as far as the ladies go, I don't want them to be wearing clothes so tight that you can see every curve and bump that they possess, because we're not there to see them. We're there to see the product, or to show the product, or to purchase the product. Not to look at the people. And then we wonder as a nation, and particularly as a people, why we are stereotyped so much, because we put ourselves in those predicaments.
Oh, is it possible to be overdressed for an interview? Like come in a prom outfit?
You know what? You would do
Yes.
that,
Right.
Yes.
Tuxedo?
But that also shows me that for what we do is great, because it shows personality. You have to have a kind of a weird personality, kind of sort of to work for the fudgery in our aspect. But in any job, if you go to, you just want to be professional. Most of my interviews that I went to, I wore a shirt, tie, button-down shirt, tie, and some slacks. And I think that was what I needed for that job. But it depends on what you're applying for.
Okay, and I know if you have a prospective individual that you might want to hire, and say for instance this person is your Facebook friend, and you know nothing about them, and you go on their Facebook, let's get our young people to understand how important it is when we say first impression is a lasting impression.
Well, social media is it. That's where we're at these days, and it's not going backwards. It's going to continue to go forward. So it's very important to, outside of work, to maintain that level of professionalism. You don't want to give away all your secrets. You don't want to be out trashing your company. You don't want to be out talking about your managers or whatever the case may be. It gives people a voice, but you just got to be more responsible. I think that everybody's not responsible when they're dealing with social media. I've had that happen to me. I've said some things I was like, "Oh, I wish I'd have not sent that or said that." But it's all about being, I guess, just more professional.
Okay, so you're gonna call Ray for a job interview, and Ray has a ringtone on his phone that you have to listen to for a long time. I mean, and you're in the position to hire. So I mean, what does that say to you about Ray if you really don't know anything about Ray? I'm just trying to get our young people to understand. I mean, you know, what you do on your own time is what you do, but it's all about that profit.
Well, I can answer that question two ways. Number one, if you're coming in for an interview, please turn your cell phone off. I think that's very rude when you're giving a interview and then your phone goes off for the person who's giving the interview and the person who's doing the interview.
Right.
Secondly, as far as the ringback tone, it's very difficult to wait while you have to hear Lil Wayne in the background or any rapper, as a matter of fact, with a lot of profanity in it. That's a little unprofessional for me. I'm very particular about who I hire and who I want to have on my team, although I don't do as much hiring as I used to. I think that's just very important. I think it just shows a level of professionalism.
Okay, so if you know, at least until after the interview,
Yes.
interviewing process.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the importance of eye contact. A lot of times, I don't know if it's insecurity or what have you, or it might be the way a lot of young people are raised, but chances are, like I'm looking at Ray, and Ray's not, he's looking at me good. But that's, normally we have a problem with it. Tell young people exactly what it means when they can actually go through an interviewing process and look you directly in the eye and give you honest answers.
It just shows confidence. When I went for my interview, I was very confident. I looked the guy in his eye the whole time. I spoke very clearly, and it just shows that you're confident about what you bring to the table. You stand up right, you sit up right, you just project your voice. And I learned that a long time ago from a guy that my mom was working for, and he was like, when you talk, you should always look people in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned that, and I feel like people respect you more when you do that, because when you have your head down, you got the sheepish look, people don't take you as serious. And also they think you may be hiding something or lying.
Right.
So you definitely want to be straightforward and look at them, talk, project your voice clearly, and I think you'll be pretty good.
Okay, Ray and Michelle, what we're going to do now is we're going to give you the opportunity to talk about some of the misconceptions you have about businesses. And I'll begin with you, Michelle. I mean, you have Mr. Hennigan here, so just go ahead and vent.
Okay. I think one of the misconceptions about business, like I remember I went on a interview for a certain retail company. And when I went on the interview, there were 3 other people that were in the interview with me. And they just so happened to have on the apparel from the store. Now, it's me, I don't really wear that apparel. I'm willing to wear it to work in the store, but I just don't wear it on a daily basis. So I thought, okay, I don't shop here and I don't do this, so therefore you're not going to hire me because you don't think I'm like dedicated or something.
Well, I guess to each his own, but for us, it's a little different. But I mean, for some companies, I think it would help if you had on the apparel.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. I don't know. With us, it's a little differently, but I would definitely probably wear a T-shirt or something.
Well, what if I don't eat fudge?
That's cool. I don't really eat fudge either, but I love the ice cream and the candied apples and the other items, so it works.
Okay. What about you, Ray?
Well, I know there's one big misconception at my place of employment, America's Best Drive-In, is that you won't get the job if you cannot skate. But that's not true, because we have non-skaters.
Okay, that's a good misconception. So what do you deal with, Mr. Hennigan, when people come in, just in general terms?
Similar to that is people think because they can't sing, they can't get a job with us.
Okay.
And we do have some phenomenal managers and employees, and they can't sing. There's no way around it. They just can't sing, and they know they can't sing, but their personality is what helps sell the product.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, your personality sells the product. You don't have to be the greatest singer in the world, but it definitely helps if you can sing.
Right, and I think in general, young people have to understand the competition is fierce.
Fierce.
You know, you got, it's not just like 100 million jobs out there, so Ray has to present himself the very best way you know how.
That's right.
Horry and Georgetown counties, you're listening to Sound Off, being sponsored by Avant Auto Repair, and our very special guest, Mr. Christopher Hennigan, representing Bucksport, South Carolina.
All day.
Regional manager for The Fudgery.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
be right back.
Sound Off.